And we're on. It's just the two of us today. Unfortunately, our schedules are clashing a little bit at the minute, so I'm stepping in as host for Joe. So bear with me. Maybe a few teething problems, but we'll see how we go. But how have you been, Tag? How's the week been? Thanksgiving last night. How did those games go for you? And how did you get on with your bets last week?
Yeah, going good, mate. Good to be back on. Obviously, yeah. We're all pretty busy at the minute, just trying to sort of work out so we can all get on. I'm sure us two will do all right. Regarding the betting side of things, definitely not done as well as you, Bish. I went for a big, juicy one, 30 odd to 1. 1 out of 3 on that. Gibbs and Monty both coming nice and early against the Colts, but it's the NFL for you. There's a lot of injuries, and Robinson clearly got hurt on the first carry of the game. Tried sort of patching up to half time, and then you didn't see him again. So that was my bet done and dusted. And good job it was done there, really, because the Chiefs blew a decent size lead against the Panthers, and the curse of the over 1 touchdown minus carries on. And I'm definitely staying away this week from that sort of prediction. I've got a big one around 15 to 1 this week, so I'm going big. I'm going to go big every week now to land one. But I'm going to be a bit smarter this week, I think, and reduce the odds a little bit down.
Lovely. And we'll just touch on Joe got one up. He had in the Minnesota Chicago game, he had Aaron Jones over 15.5 receiving and Caleb Williams to throw at least one touchdown as well, which came in 31 to 20. And he was pretty close on his running back one as well, but didn't quite hit that on the bet boost. But for me, what a week. It didn't look very good. Jonnu Smith, I think, came in just over first quarter. You know,
it's probably the easiest, best one you've ever picked, that, Bish.
Yeah, again, I've seen a trend and I'm all over it. Last night, I got on it personally again. He got peppered last night, so I'll be sticking with Jonnu Smith next week. And then we had Travis Kelce, who got in by half a yard. He got me there by half a yard, and it was looking very bleak in that Washington Dallas game. McLaurin not involved at all, and all of a sudden, with 21 seconds to go, he goes 70 odd yards to land 3 out of 3 for the full house. So first one for the year, the full house. You know, I've been close to a couple of 2 out of 3. So look, great to land that one. Filling with confidence and ready to go for this week. So the only downside is the touchdown scorers. You know, we've been struggling in that department the last few weeks. So hopefully that treble's looking good this week. So hopefully we can get there. But yeah, straight in. I'll start us off with my bet one, and that's Joe Mixon over 78.5 rushing yards and to score a touchdown as well. And Joe Mixon he's had a good year, but last week he had his worst game of the season against the Titans, 14 carries for only 22 yards. And I'm expecting a big bounce back this week against the Jags. He's had 9 games this season, 6 have been over 100 yards, and he scored 7 touchdowns. He scored in 7 games as well. He racked up 3 against the Cowboys in 1 game. So he scored in 7 individual games. So he's like I said, he's been on fire most of the year, coming up against a poor Jags defense against the run, the bottom 10 in that department. So I'm expecting the Texans, who have still got a lot to play for, come the end of the year, the playoffs, to kick on and to see a bounce back from Joe Mixon there.
Yeah, it was very quiet last week for Joe Mixon. He's been so consistent all year, and that Jags defense, we speak about it quite often, how poor that is. So I think the rushing, the only thing that could hurt the rushing yards if he just receives too many, but he's going to get a lot of work. It's clear RB1 by a mile, and like I said, these running backs are doing well against the Jags. So yeah, it's going to be a lovely start based on a nice big 2.45 again. You're going a bit mad. But now you're winning, you're going mad. Love it.
While I'm hot, I've got to boost those odds a little bit, Anna. So yeah, Joe Mixon hopefully to start us off, and over to Joe's bet one. It's very focused on Anthony Richardson here, the bet builder for Anthony Richardson. He's got over 177.5 passing yards. He's got him throwing at least 1 passing touchdown, and then combined, he's got 228.5 passing and rushing yards. So obviously we know Anthony Richardson is a runner as well there. So he's sort of added on an extra, if my maths is good, 50-ish yards for the running there. So Yeah, for me, what are your thoughts, Tag? We'll start with you, Tag.
Yeah. I'll jump on this. I like this one. I was looking at Richardson myself from our treble. He's going against a really good matchup. I've actually forgot who he's going up against now. I remember researching and looking into it, and he's going against a poor secondary. But to be honest, I think this 228.5 passing and rushing combined. Who are they playing?
The Pats.
The Pats, yeah, that's it. Poor secondary in the Pats, really struggling at the minute defensively. 228.5. He could do that passing alone, and that one touchdown only needed. That's one big play. There's one thing Richardson ain't scared to do, it's to chuck the Hail Marys up and throw them long balls down the line. So I like this one. I think it's better than even money's a great price for it as well.
Yeah, we know he's a good rusher, and like you said, he seems to have got a bit of a connection with Pittman going again. So hopefully we see him involved in the passing game there. Straight into my bet two, and it is Will Levis over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And the Titans, I think we've said it quite a bit about Will Levis on this show and on the fantasy show. He's a gunslinger. It's hit or miss. It's literally a touchdown for the Titans, or it's a pick six for the defense. So he is all or nothing, I think. And they have had a brutal schedule the first half of the year, and now it gets a little bit easier. He's come back from a shoulder injury. He's hit this line in the last 2 out of 3 games. He's absolutely slinging the ball. You've got Nick Westbrook-Akini, who seems to be his favourite downfield target. And then since DeAndre Hopkins has moved over to the Chiefs, Calvin Ridley all of a sudden has stepped into his role as well. So he's looking really good. Coming up against the Commanders, who have given up this line in the last 3 out of 4 games. So they're looking a bit shaky against the pass. So, yeah, for me, Will Levis, not a fan of mayonnaise like he is, but, I'm expecting to see him rip it here and a couple of touchdowns at least.
Yeah, and obviously the Washington could have a few issues at running back. The defensive structure of the Titans is very good. They are a good team defensively, so you'd like to think Will Levis is going to get plenty of ball and mix it up with Pollard in that attack. Bigger than evens again, Bish. I like it.
That's it. Keep it going. And we're on to Joe's bet 2, which is another builder in the Minnesota-Arizona game. And he's gone with Cam Akers over 21.5 rushing yards. If I wrote that right, it is. Yeah, it is. All right, yeah. I got mixed up then. I thought it could have been receiving. But no, it's Cam Akers over 21.5 rushing yards and Justin Jefferson over 78.5 receiving yards there. So a big stack on the Vikings.
Yeah, I like this one again from Joe. Arizona Cardinals are pretty good defensively, not the best. They've been a bit flaky the last couple of weeks, but Cam Akers is getting more reps now. He's been in Minnesota a couple of months. Aaron Jones, we spoke about him. He does look a bit more bandaged up, and he's doing more like the screen type plays. Cam Akers, second half of games, has been coming in and getting some workload. So, look, a couple of carries that can knock this 21 off. I think the big one is this Jefferson. The Cardinals aren't too bad secondary. And it's obviously Darnold, we've seen what it's like when he targets Jefferson a lot. He's there for interceptions, and Jefferson's been getting a bit frustrated. So for the price of it, it's definitely worth chucking in there. It'll boil down to JJ, I think, whether he's going to see enough production.
Yeah, I think over the last 4 weeks, we've all had a stab at him, haven't we, in terms of yardage. I think this is Joe's second go, so hopefully he nails it for him. And then my final one, it is Bucky Irving over 76.5 scrimmage yards. That's passing. That is rushing and receiving there. And for me, Bucky, I've loved him all year. Now we're seeing a lot more of him. He seems to be the most electric back in that backfield. And the Bucs score plenty of points. So, their offense is flowing, coming up against a Panthers team who aren't that good defensively. So I expect points. I expect to see plenty of Bucky. And I think, I've covered myself there saying scrimmage. I think he could get this on the floor, rushing just by himself. So I'm liking this one, Tag. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, mate. Look, he's going against that Panthers D, who were atrocious, and Bucky keeps on getting better and better. Last week, flying. The fact that this is nearly even money, I think this could easily be one of the bankers of the season for me.
Oof, strong. And then there's a bit of flow with this one. Straight into Joe's bet boost. This is the big one, 18-1. And just to explain it, it's in that same game, the Bucks versus the Panthers. He's got Bucky Irving and Chuba Hubbard both to have 20 plus receiving yards and also both to have 60 plus rushing yards. So again, yeah, we're liking Bucky at the minute. He gets it done on both sides of the ball. And we saw the Panthers a pretty good game last week against the Chiefs, running very close. And Chuba Hubbard's been very good all season. So I'm excited about this one. I think for 18-1, I think that's a huge price.
Yeah, I think it's great value bet. I think the only one that could potentially risk that is the Chuba rushing, just if they're chasing the game a bit. And the Bucks rush defense isn't too bad, I believe. It's more obviously the secondary where they're really poor, and that's why I've tied in a bet myself with this Panthers offense. So yeah, but for 18-1, that sort of value, outstanding.
And then we drop into the big one. Here we go, Tag. It's Tag's treble. Talk us through this.
Yeah, my treble. So we're looking nearly 15-1 here. I've dropped it down a bit, but I really like it. We just spoke about that matchup. Bryce Young, 2+ passing touchdowns. He covered this last week. He's looking better and better now, I think. I think it's more signs are getting shown that they're going to stick with him and go into next year with him again. The Bucks secondary is really poor. They've been really punished all season there. One of the worst in the NFL. And Bryce Young is going to be chasing the game a bit. It's going to be a bit of a throw, and there's going to be a lot of points in the game. And I think the 2+ passing touchdowns for Bryce Young, I just like it. It was a very good price to add in. Going into the next one, I've got Justin Herbert over 275 passing yards. In most bookmakers putting this treble together, I think on this one I did it on 365 because it was the biggest odds. Over 275 for him. He's going head-to-head with the Falcons. The Falcons need to win desperately. They are brilliant secondary. I think Herbert's getting better and better every week. He's looking outstanding. Obviously, Dobbins has gone down injured, so I know Gus Edwards is good, but they might lean to throwing that ball a little bit more than normal. And I think 275 yards for Justin Herbert. We've seen the way he throws the ball is more than achievable. And I've rolled into the one what's the only sort of just odds on double money in the treble, just to bang it up from sort of 7-8-1 to the 15-1 is the Rams Saints game, total points over 49.5. I just think that's quite low for this matchup. The Rams offense, one of the best in the league for me, with that wide receiver core and Kyren Williams. And also the Rams secondary is atrocious, Bish, in it, as you know, as a fan. It's not great. And I think Carr could be spraying it around a bit. Taysom Hill's getting a lot more ball now. I just think it could be a 20-odd, 30-odd type of game back and forward. So that's what I've done to round off this treble. It's one what ain't as risky as last week, but 15-1. Bit of thought gone into it, and I'm hoping to be up on the season when this lands.
I like it. Yeah, I like the Bryce Young player. No matter what the game script is there, if Tampa do lead and do get off to a good start, obviously Bryce has got to keep up, and then it even adds to garbage time where the Bucks are relaxing and the Panthers come back. So really like that one. Herbert, I'm a fan of Herbert. Since he's sort of recovered from that foot injury, the second half of the year he's really hit the ground running, hasn't he? Very unlucky against the Ravens. In a loss there, that could have been very different if Quentin Johnson catches a ball and goes for a touchdown. So I'm liking that one. And yeah, the Rams, it's they always scare me. The Rams, you just don't know what you're getting. I think the offense is ticking over, and then what probably for this bet, what I'd like to see is a couple of bombs land for Marquez Valdes-Scantling, which pushes the Saints up and then obviously keeps the Rams chasing. So I like Stafford to get that offense going and score points. It's just whether that D-line can get hold of Derek Carr. But yeah, the secondary, AJ Brown blew him to bits last week. So expect similar, really. So like you said, 15-1, let's get it. Week 13, the season turns around and we're in profit. So love it. And then the last piece of action is straight onto the touchdown treble. I've gone with Nico Collins to start with. Again, as I said earlier, coming up against the Jags, one of the worst defenses, and concede the third most points. So I'm expecting quite a few Texans touchdowns there. Joe has gone with Bucky Irving, and as we've spoke about there, the Buccaneers are scoring plenty of points, and he's the man at the minute. And Tag, you've got George Pickens.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, his go-to man. I like his matchup this week. I just think he's due one. And also, I was watching Thanksgiving football last night with a few of the listeners to this podcast and a few friends of ours, and I opened the floor, said chuck some names out. I've been pretty poor this last week or two. What are you thinking, boys? Some names got chucked out. A man called Jordan Lane chucked out George Pickens' name. I looked at the matchup and I thought, Joe, what, Laney? I'll give you a shout out, mate, and you can contribute to this treble as helping me pick George Pickens. So if it wins, it's my pick. If he lets us down, it's his
if it wins, we'll have Laney pick one next week and make it a quad.
Yeah.
But, no, I like it. Like you said, he's always fireworks Pickens in it, whether he's catching the ball or he's fighting with a DB. So, yeah, we don't quite have a price on that yet, but we will get one up on socials at the weekend. So, yeah, that's it. I think we'll just recap for the shorts. I'll start with mine. Bet 1 is Joe Mixon over 78.5 rushing yards and a touchdown. Bet 2 is Will Levis over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And bet 3 is Bucky Irving over 76.5 scrimmage yards. And for Joe, we've got bet 1 is Anthony Richardson over 177.5 passing yards, over 0.5 passing touchdowns, and over 228.5 passing and rushing yards. The second bet builder is Cam Akers over 21.5 rushing yards and Justin Jefferson over 78.5 receiving yards. And the bet boost, the one that we like, is Bucky Irving and Chuba Hubbard, each over 20 plus receiving and each 60 plus rushing. I've made a mess of that one.
You want me to do
it? And over to Tag's treble.
Yeah, so Tag's treble, we've got Bryce Young, 2 plus passing touchdowns, Justin Herbert to throw over 275 passing yards, and in the Rams and Saints game, the overs on the total points, which is currently at 49.5, grand total of 14.76 to 1 for the treble.
Lovely. And just a quick look, the touchdown treble, there we have it. Nico Collins, Bucky Irving, and George Pickens. And that rounds off week 13 best bets. Looking forward to the weekend and watching them land.
Happy days. Like, subscribe. More winnings. Follow Bish, lads. Everyone get following Bish. He's on fire. Yeah,
we're doing well at the minute. So like you said, pass it on. But I would say get on early. Obviously, the prices change. So, each yard is crucial. So get on early. It drops, Friday evening. So, well, obviously, when it drops because you're watching it. So, yeah, I'd advise get on early. But, enjoy week 13. Another one in the books.